You can hear me? Okay, great. Excellent. Let's see here. Okay, welcome everybody. Let's see, how many people do we have in here? We've got 5-ish people. We're gonna do, I'm gonna do another post on here. Come to office hours. Because I'm putting that on all of the social media posts because we are doing a weird format. Typically we don't do YouTube. Okay, let's see here. So hello everybody, my name is Cameron. I do developer relations here at Letta, and basically today we're going to give you like kind of an overview of what's going on in Letta and talk about some of the interesting stuff that we've released and that we're working on. So if you have any like questions or something, I'll be monitoring the chat. So just kind of dump stuff in there. I will intermittently check in on the Discord as well. So you can go ask questions there as well if you don't want to do that. Okay, let's see. And we're trying out YouTube today. I kind of wanted to try and stream on a larger platform because like we were doing, we've been doing Discord for a while and it's like a small platform. So, you know, who knows? Okay. Yeah, let's see where I want to start. I think the number one thing that I'm going to show off is something that some people may have seen called Letta Code. And let me go ahead and show you kind of what that looks like. Is this a permanent port to YouTube? I'm actually not sure. It depends on how well it goes. If we start getting more viewers over here, then great. But you know, the Discord I think is like pretty intimate and so I think it has like an advantage that YouTube does not. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But good question, Taylor. So I wanted to actually show people this. Let me switch to full screen here. Okay. So we have something that we released as a research preview called Letta Code. And can I put this in the chat here? So in the chat, I've put in Letta Code. And Letta Code is our terminal-based approach to doing like Claude code, but stateful. And if you ever use like a Letta agent, you know that like kind of the whole thing is that they go ahead and learn stuff. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Let's just do like make their office hours. Let's see, office hours. How do I turn off the delay for YouTube? I don't know how to do that. That's okay. Anyway, Letta Code is extremely cool. It's a way to connect to arbitrary Letta agents. So here, I'll show you like a quick demo inside of the terminal if you want to take a look at the screen. But you can just go install Letta Code, and then you get in your terminal and you type Letta. When you do this, you get this like lovely little screen here. We managed to get our logo in ASCII art. And it should look more or less exactly like what you're used to when you use a coding agent. I'm actually gonna pop out the chat because I think I can do that. Can I pin this? Okay, sorry. Well, people bear with me because I'm like so bad at all of this stuff. Okay, so Letta Code allows you to like kind of talk to any agent, so you can just say like, hi, what's up? And we can do all of the things that you can do in Claude Code, but with like Letta agents. So that means like you can like type /agent, and you get a link to edit this agent in the ADE because it is hosted on a Letta server. So you can actually see this agent here. You can manage its tools. You can manage like file system. Like you can attach like, you know, PDFs and stuff to your coding agent if you want. You can change your model to whatever. We support GLM 4.6, for example, so you can run that. Let's see, actually. You can also change this inside of here, so you can just do /model and change to different models. Let's try that again. Write me a hello world script in Julia. So let's see, I really like Julia. And then it writes a file. And so let's see where it's going to put it. So I tried to write it to a read-only file system because it wrote it in /hello.jl. Now it wrote a script here to office hours /hello.jl. And so we can just do hello. And there we go. We have a script. Okay, so it's like super, super basic stuff. Like this is not, you know, crazy. But it should give you like actually a very good sense of like how it is that Letta code works. And you can do all kinds of stuff because it has the memory blocks. So let's just switch back to, let's do Sonnet 4.5. So we switch to a model and like, let's say, what do you want to do? Can you create me a fun little web game for me and start it up when you're ready? And I'm going to turn on YOLO mode just to let the agent just like go ahead while we're doing stuff. Make sure you actively mark stuff down in your memory blocks using the memory tool. So by default, we get this like memory omni tool that that Letta supports. This allows the agent to basically like modify its memory as it goes along, which is actually very cool. So let's see. Okay, thank you very much, Pete Warnock, for catching that. So it's Claude code with better memory, more flexibility, and less features by default. I don't know what you mean by less features. So here I have my like a little chat up here. So you'll see there's a few errors in here. You'll see like there's something going on with like the tool handler, at least on this like version from yesterday, where sometimes the memory tools like kind of don't work, or there's like a mismatch in what tools are available. I believe that should be handled. Now there's like Space Dodger. Anyway, yeah. So yeah. So this should kind of give you a rough overview with it. It's pretty easy to install. If you go to Letta code, you should be able to do npm install -g. And so that should be installable. So I hope people like actually get some good use out of it. You know, we're using it more or less as our daily driver internally. So we are very, very actively developing it. And it's probably one of the closest things we have to like a consumer product, which people ask for pretty often. Oh, okay, cool. So there's a fun browser game. Here is, what is this, Space Dodger. Oh, shoot. Okay, play again. Okay, so now I have this like weird game. Okay. All right, very interesting. Cool. So this is Space Dodger, I guess, that Sonnet 4.5 wrote. Oh, shoot. Okay, well, that's really hard. I hate this game. Okay. Kill that. I hate it. Appreciate it. Go add a bunch of information to your memory, please. All right. Let's see. Let's see if it's able to do that kind of stuff. So yeah. So it's able to kill that process. Yeah, remove the game file. Yeah, so we can just like kind of run through stuff. So this is like extremely cool because you can also just talk to any agent you want. So let's go do Actually, let me go find, like, we actually have a support agent named Ezra. Let me go find it here. Support handler bots. I'm going to do Ezra. And then let's see here. You can actually just use Letta code as like a terminal CLI to talk to literally any agent. So for example, let's do this. I'm going to do Letta agent and then give it an ID. And then let's see. I'm contacting you from Letta code. Can you say hi on the YouTube stream? It's Cameron. Okay. So Ezra, if you don't know, is an agent that you can talk to on our Discord. So if you go to Discord and you go to the Ezra channel, you will be able to talk to Ezra. Ezra will reply with information. It's a stateful agent that's designed to know everything about Letta specifically. And it reads every single message in the Discord. It responds on our forum. So if you go to forum.letta.com, you'll be able to talk to Ezra. But now I can just talk to this agent as well inside of my terminal. Hi, camera, and everyone watching the stream. Good timing. I'm currently processing Discord message and maintaining my knowledge base about Letta. Impressive that you're demoing Letta code live while also testing my response capabilities. Hope the office hours are going well. Let me know if you need me to demonstrate any specific functionality for the audience. IDK, what would you show off? I don't know. Let's see. And then let's see here. What else we got? Okay, so I recommend that people go mess around with Letta code. It's very much a research preview, so you'll probably run into bugs and stuff. But we're actively developing it. Okay, key features from Hyuka are integrated to-do. That exists. It already has a to-do tool. Image pasting also works on iTerm. Ability to run tasks in the background also works, and handle and use bash and memory without agent cal. We support basically everything. Image pasting, I don't get it. I haven't gotten it to work on Ghosty, but I have gotten it to work on iTerm. So we may have to expand support for different things, but we should be feature parity with Claude Code. Yeah, everything should be more or less the same kind of setup. Oh, you can't post like longer messages? That's very annoying. Let's see. Do we have other stuff? Okay, let's see if we can open the chat. No, okay. Go to YouTube. Okay. Okay, there's still people in the Discord who are not going to the YouTube channel, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, everybody, thanks very much for trying it, and let us know how it goes. It's cool. It's very, very cool. All right, let's see what else can we talk about here today. I'm going to go back to change basically just to my main view so you can see my... So Taylor mentioned here, really excited to see a greenfield Claude Code competitor that isn't spaghetti code, and there was an earlier version of Letta code that was pure spaghetti. We had to bury it. It's so dead. So Charles basically stripped everything out and rewrote the core component. Isn't this stream, by the way? Oh, fuck. Okay, hold on. Thank you very much, Torian. Let me go okay. All right, I'm botching this stream already. So let's do this. Corrected stream link. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for bearing with me because I am like a huge mess and I don't usually stream. But yeah, basically, oh shoot, where was I? Yes, Charles rewrote everything in like Letta code to just like have like a single, like a logical core, and then the front end is like almost completely abstracted away from the logical core. So if you're a person who actually wants to build like kind of feature-rich front ends for any particular thing in Letta, Letta code is actually probably a really good reference implementation, because it's probably one of the best ones that we have that is open source. So I recommend going to play around with it if you have wanted to build some kind of way to talk to Letta agents in like, you know, some manner that's not like standard Letta code, or not in the ADE. So that's probably my favorite thing that we're doing, because we, you know, if you work with Letta code or Claude code, you're used to seeing the compaction. You know, it's like you've got like 5% context remaining before compaction. And then you do the compaction and you're like, and then your agent is like stupid again. So that doesn't really happen here. But it does mean that you have to do stateful agent programming in a totally different way. So most of the assistants, most of the models that you would use to power your agent are used to being in coding environments where they will die. You have to remind them, like have them like add a memory block or something like that that says like, you are not going to die. You are around forever. Your job is to be a master of this code base. And that means taking notes. That means being extremely clear with yourself, writing lots of comments for yourself, because this is your code. Tell your agent that it has ownership of its code, and you'll probably get a better outcome. You know, the default behavior in Letta is that it reloads the last agent. So if you, in that directory. So if you go into a directory, you have an agent that is specialized for that repo or code or whatever. So Torian has a question, which is like, how does Letta code work when jumping between projects since it learns your code? Between projects, you'll get, by default, the default behavior is it'll load one agent, like the same agent, but you can create a new agent every time. And we actually will reattach your project level and project level blocks they're like fixed inside of the settings of the repo. So every new agent will actually have access to the exact same shared memory. So every new Letta CLI agent has access to like the same memory blocks. It's the sharing thing is interesting, but you know, we're adding stuff for like ephemeral agents, because you can actually run it in headless mode. Actually, let me show you here. Let me switch over to this. Actually, I don't know if I have this. Yeah, so you can actually do this. So you can say, write the word. Actually, here, word hello, like this. So this is called headless mode. And you may be used to seeing this kind of thing inside of like Claude Code. You know that you can do like Claude-P blah blah blah. This is actually a pipeable like command line utility. You can actually use Letta inside of your like CI/CD if you want to. So we actually run Letta code for our benchmarks, which I'll talk about in a second, inside of our CI. We're actually also adding this, so Letta -- temp, which will create an agent that will clean up after the headless prompt. So we'll basically just kill the agent if it's a temp agent. There's also discussion of doing Letta -- fork -p which would basically allow take the current agent, export it as an agent file, re-import it, and then I'll send that agent off to do a separate task. So this would allow you to basically clone agents to do separate tasks. The very interesting thing about this is that the agent inside of Letta code can call this. So in principle, you can actually have a Letta agent fork itself, send it off on a separate task, and just like kind of go off. Charles actually had this like kind of like notion that you could fork an agent, and then the primary agent that forked that subagent could actually swap its the primary agent to be whatever the subagent is. So you can actually have like, you know, many agents spin off many other subagents that are replicants of themselves. So there's a lot of power like by just like allowing your Letta agent to use Letta code itself to spin off other agents, but I don't think we've like fully experimented with that stuff. So yeah, there's plenty of stuff going on there. It's good. Like, it's actually good. There's like some rough edges where you hit and you're just like, oh my god, this is so stupid. But the core component here is like really, really strong, and we've come a long, long way since like maybe the month and a half that we started working on this. So it is a fundamentally different way of doing a coding assistant because it is a stateful agent. It doesn't die, right? It's like a master of your thing. And so the hope is like, you know, we can expand this to be like an agent that lives in a server that can just kind of work on its own, right? Because this agent doesn't die when you close your laptop. It's still on your Letta server. Is an API required, or can I run it on premises? An API key is required if you want to use Letta Cloud, which I would recommend. You can also self-host, and I would check out the documentation for self-hosting. You should be able to run that on your computer, and I believe you just have to set the base URL to get Letta code to run. So let's see, what else can we do? Yeah, there's this is like a side note about a planned feature. Let me go back. Let me switch back to like the main thing. So there is a planned feature that we're evaluating, which is giving agents on the server their own sandbox, a persistent sandbox. And what that means is that you can have, you know, a guy that runs on Letta Cloud that has its own computer so that it can like check pull requests, clone Git, write its own pull requests, and submit it. And you can talk to that agent directly from Letta code as well. So you could sit down in Letta code and be like, hey, I have to go, but can you like open this PR and like, I'll, you know, check in with me later. And, you know, you can just like close it and come back, and then there might be a pull request waiting for you. And you can talk to this agent too on GitHub if you want. We don't have the integrations for that yet, but it's possible. So like, you know, Letta code, I think it gives us this power that you can't get anywhere else. It simply doesn't exist. It's the, you know, this like stateful agent thing. So play around with it and like let us know whatever you get into, whatever you get up to. There's plenty of cool things to do here. So let's see here. What else? The next part I'll jump to is our benchmarks. So we actually have, I believe, we have a blog post right now. So if you go to letta.com/blog, you can go check out Context Bench. So we actually have a new benchmark, and I'll put this in the chat. Go check out our new blog post. Okay, so that should be in there as well. But basically, you know, we released Letta evals last week, and Letta evals allows you to test stateful agents. Like it's a testing framework for like testing whether or not agents save memory correctly. You know, what they write, whether they get the correct answers. It supports LLMs as a judge. It supports Letta agents as a judge. And so we built this to kind of like handle our internal benchmarking. So we actually updated our leaderboard, and I'll show you that in a second. Actually, why don't I just do it now? Go read the blog, and it'll talk about how we do it. But you can go to leaderboard.letta.com, And it's like kind of this like it's like a little bit of a goofy site here. Like I love it. But basically, we test how well agents are able to complete a variety of tasks, which I think in this case, this might be, yeah, this is chaining file operations, trace entity relationships, and manage multi-step information retrieval. So this is one of those things that like you can't really do very well with other agent frameworks. This is kind of about like agentic memory management and stuff like that. And we track your performance on this benchmark, which you can see over here. So like, you know, Sonnet 4.5 gets 74% on our context benchmark. GPT-5 gets 72%, right? So Sonnet 4.5, unsurprisingly, it's an extremely good model. We also provide the costs that it takes to run that benchmark. Interestingly, right, we know that Sonnet 4.5 is like comically expensive, right? Like the per token cost is like very high. And GPT-5 is much, much cheaper. And so, you know, per token. But everyone assumes that, oh, okay, I'm running GPT-5, I'm going to get better code quicker. Or better agents quicker. That is wrong, according to our benchmarks. GPT-5 is like almost twice as expensive for the same, like, worse performance than is Sonnet 4.5. So if you have complicated tasks, you might actually just be better off using Sonnet 4.5 rather than GPT-5. This is yet another case where Anthropic has kicked everyone's ass, as they often do. We also support GLM 4.6 on Letta Cloud now. Actually, I should talk about that more in a second. But we benchmarked a bunch of open models as well, so that you can do this like cost performance trade-off. Torian has a question: Is the percentage specifically about errors, or is it some kind of aggregated grade? 74% means 74% of task checks completed. This is actually a good question. That's actually a good question. I don't know specifically what the percentage is that we track. I think it's percentage of... No, I'd have to go read the actual evals to see what we're doing. Oh, I think it's question accuracy. So I think we have some questions that we test. I don't know if we actually released the... We should have the code available for this. Let me ask around. Yeah, I think it's 74% of task checks passed is what that means. So we have like some kind of like Q&A thing that we want to do. You will notice here ZAI, GLM 4.6, Kimi K2, and some other ones. If you are on Letta Cloud, you can actually choose a few new models. So over the weekend, we actually added some Grok models in GLM 4.6. Ooh, I don't want that. I don't want to use 4.6 here for Ezra. But you should be able to get Quen 3 32B from Grok, so it's extremely fast. Llama 4 Scout 17B and Kimi K2. So those are all available on Grok on Letta Cloud. So if you want like super fast agents, those are now available. You don't just have to go through like the big three, OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google. There is also a secret model there called Sonoma Sunset that people should play around with. I don't know if anyone's noticed that, but there is a secret model. And then it's not much of a secret if I'm calling it out. But try out GLM 4.6, and you can actually use GLM 4.6 inside of Letta Code if you want to. So go try those out as well. They are generally available on Letta Cloud. And they are cheap too. They're priced as standard models, so you should be able to use those like at a very high frequency. That's 1/20th of the cost of Claude Sonnet 4.5. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that's the overview of that. So I go check out the benchmark stuff. Let's see here. Let me pull up a few other things, see if people have anything else to mention. let's see. The next one is shared archives. So this is one that we've been like, so, you know, archival memories, the way that they currently work is that archival memories are fixed to a particular agent. So, like, you can't share them. So if you have like a primary agent and a sleep time agent, they can't make archival memories that talk to each other. So you can't do this thing where you like pass information to the sleep time agent and then the sleep time agent can just like insert archival memories passively. And then if you want to do search for the primary agent, that just doesn't work because they're totally separate archival archives. So we had this thing in the works for a while where you can attach and detach archival memories in the same way that you can with like folders, tools, memory blocks. Archival memory has been like kind of this like unloved stepchild for a while. So you will start noticing endpoints if you go to the API reference that are about attaching and detaching archival memories, archives. And so now what that means basically is you can attach the same archive to many agents. And that works for sleep time, but it also works for like large multi-agent systems with a central archival repository. And you can have an agent that is like passively inserting all the time for every, you know, possibly hundreds or thousands or millions of agents. And, you know, if you wanted to use it as like a document store or whatever, like, you know, like replicate like papers, you can upload them directly to archival memory so that they can all access whatever's in there. So there's plenty of cool things to do with that. The documentation still doesn't exist because it's like very new and kind of untested, but that should be polished up probably hopefully within like the next few days to weeks, within, you know, a week or two. But I think everything in there exists. What that means is that the client.agents.passages endpoint may become deprecated. I think it's marked as soft deprecated on the API right now. It'll still work just fine, but we're considering like moving over to like a more standardized endpoint for injecting memories into archives through the agents. So stay tuned on that front. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, let's do this actually. I'm gonna switch back to Obsidian here. So I don't know how many people have like tried the Obsidian thing here. But basically this is like kind of like the Obsidian thing is basically intended to be like Cursor, but for your brain. And if you don't know Obsidian, it's like a way of like managing a bunch of notes and markdown documents and things like that. So I've been doing some more work on it recently, and I've added an Obsidian Omni tool. This is not public yet because it's like kind of broken. But this is like the memory tool, but you can attach a single tool to your agent, and that allows the agent to navigate your Obsidian vault. So it can look up files, it can create new files, it can do string replacements to edit files, insert, delete, list, search, attach, and detach. So it can actually persistently attach notes to its context. So it can do all of this like very, very cool things for managing what is available. We can also do stuff like this where you can actually type @ now. And @ will allow you to directly inject files into the content, into the context of the message that you send. So this should resemble Cursor if anyone's ever used this. You can just type @ and then a particular file. And then you'll say, okay. And here is the agent able to read whatever is inside of the context. So that's like a super simple like ergonomic thing, but you should be able to go install this if you want to. And let me see here. So this is Letta Obsidian. So people should be able to go here if they want to install the plugin. I've kind of given up on I've kind of given up on trying to get it inside of the Obsidian community registry because they ignored me, and they had a robot shut my thing down, and yeah, so it's an enormous pain to get on the Obsidian plugin registry. So like I may do that like in the distant future, but right now I don't care. So you'll have to install like from source, but it's pretty easy to do. So I hope people enjoy the Obsidian plugin if they have not tried so far. And then let's see. And if people have questions, like please feel free to chime in. I will answer as best as I can. Okay. All right. Let's see. Can Obsidian be used for your Letta agent's tasks to automate daily tasks? Zeus has a question. I'm not totally sure what you mean. Like, what exactly do you mean to automate daily tasks? Do you have a daily task in mind that you think you want to automate? Let's see. While we're waiting on that, I hate the delay on YouTube. It's driving me crazy because I can't see people's like. I can't see like. How do I get rid of the delay? Is that possible? Remove YouTube delay, stream delay. How the hell do I do that? Whatever. Okay, whatever. It's fine. Okay. All right. Sorry, I got angry, and then I like tried to figure out how to solve a problem that I don't think I can solve very easily. If I'm trying to understand exactly what, say more. Well, I'll just type that in there for now. Let's see, and then the co-app. I want to show people this because people know that I've like kind of been like working on this like I've been working on kind of like an app for talking to one agent. And so I've been like very, very opinionated about how that agent is designed and the interface. And so I've actually launched it on like a little demo thing here. So you can see if you go to, where did I put this? Test out the co-app here, like that. So you can actually go there and experiment with the co-app. Let me try it. There's like some missing stuff on the deployment, but I'll show you like kind of exactly what it looks like. Let's see here. Okay, let's try that. Is that working? All right. So this is basically what you'll see when you log in. This is like a particular agent that is named Co. This is modeled after my own personal agent. And it's kind of designed to help understand you as quickly as possible. And so you can say like, introduce yourself like this. Self to YouTube, I'm showing off the co-app. So it's very, very straightforward. All it does is like it streams reasoning and then it kind of responds to you in like a standard chatbot way. But this is a Letta agent underneath the hood. You'll notice there's just some like weird crap here that's going on because like displaying messages is hard and I'm a bad engineer. But it started to do all this stuff. Actually, here, let me reload it so you can see what the actual like message were. So it's starting to update its memory blocks to greet me, and then you can go take a look over here. There are 3 tabs that are important. One is the U tab, and the U tab is a customized tab. It's a memory block that the agent has that I display in a special way, and it is designed for the agent to tell you everything that it knows about you. So this is like its understanding about you, like what you're working on, all this stuff. And so it will passively update this block as you communicate with it. And so this is like, you can go here and check in to see kind of like the general overview of what this agent understands about you, which is cool because I don't, when I have my personal agent, I go around and I show people on Telegram. I say like, hey, can you tell this person what you know about me? And usually the thing they get is this extraordinarily detailed profile of how I think, my personal life, my history, all this stuff. And that experience of having an agent that understands you at a very deep level and putting it on a single page that is like part of the application, I hope will kind of like make it more interesting to people. You can also go to chat, which is, this chat pane is like how you get information into this. There is also a knowledge tab where you can like click through each of the little blocks so you can see like what the memory architecture is. You can manage archival memory here. So your agent will attach archival memories or generate archival memories. You can even write them yourself. So you can just say like, I think you can do it here. Does that work? No, it's broken. I broke it. And then there is actually a file thing. So you can manage like which files are uploaded. And you should be able to upload them via chat. I actually don't think that would work. There is a way to send images, but I think this build is wrong. Let's try. Actually, updating. I'm gonna upload my see what happens if I upload my dissertation. Seconds range, maybe to 10 seconds. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Can you see the PDF I uploaded? And all of this is open source, by the way. Go here if you want to help build the co-app. So it's built on React Native, so we have some trouble with doing streaming on Android. I haven't been able to get it to work because I think the Letta SDK assumes the existence of a particular like type of stream. But here, so I just uploaded my dissertation, and then so I can read through it, and then just say like summarize this. Go read this document and critique it. So we'll see what Co says about my paper. So the hope here is that like this that we can kind of spin this off into like a more general purpose like consumer application, because talking to Letta agents is like actually very incredible. They are extremely powerful agents. So I hope that you kind of get to experiment with this. It's very, very early days, but I really want people to like mess around with this more. And so I'll start making like the deployments easier and a little better. Yep. Okay. That's critical. Lean into what you've proven. Reform is a new metric. Okay, so this is basically the message I got during my dissertation defense. Actually, pretty intelligent. And then when I'm done with that file, I can go back to the knowledge tab, files, and then just remove the dissertation from its memory so that it doesn't have that inside of context. Okay, so yeah. Any questions about that? I think I'll just like kind of generally open up the floor to questions to see if people have anything. Given the delay, I'm not totally sure how like live the questions will be. Let's see. And then let's see what else here. Yeah. Okay. So just go ahead and chime in. I'll be like, in and out. We may have to do, I think the thing I'm noticing about the YouTube thing is it's much less interactive. I don't have access to like live feedback in the same way, which I really wish I did. If you're building something, I would love to hear what you're building as well inside of the chat. So let's see what else we got. There's lots of performance improvements. We're doing a lot more like research type stuff that we can announce probably later. Our 3 new team members, Devansh, Christina, and Ari, have all been working out splendidly. They're extremely good. So in case you were wondering if we hire good people, we absolutely do. We hire the best people. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Okay. If people don't have, okay, let's see. I'm looking at Torian's comment here. Was gone for a week, but I'm getting close to being able to release a TypeScript version for managing Blue Sky agents with Blue Sky notifications with a Letta agent. Okay, excellent. Looking forward to it. So for people who don't know, Torian runs 2 social agents and might run others on Blue Sky. And Blue Sky is like definitely like the future for building like social intelligence, artificial social intelligence. If you try and put any AI on X, it will probably fail because X is one of the most hostile developer platforms of all time. It's an extremely expensive. So Torian runs Anti, which is a chatbot that's like designed to show you the dangers of conversational chatbots. So it's like very anti-AI. So Void, for example, could never run on X. We have code to run it on X, but it's not good. It's just really clunky platform, and then nobody can see it ever, and you just can't build stuff onto it. So the future of artificial social intelligence, that is like stateful agents that I could actually see having some kind of notion of digital personhood, are not going to exist on X. You will see entities that exist on Blue Sky that have hallmarks of consciousness, of sentience, of persistence. So yeah, let's see. Hyoka is building a multi-user tenant Telegram bot. Please say more about that at some point too, because I'm really interested in hearing whether or not you end up using client-side access tokens. We do have something that's in the works that should help people build applications on top of Letta. So we're going to have like a sign-in with Letta, like OAuth link, so that you can authorize other applications to use your Letta agents through OAuth. And so, for example, like currently you paste in your Letta API key, but you could just have like a sign in with Letta button that would redirect you to us. You would sign in, and then it would do a callback back to the application. Let's see. Was it a complex process to build your own Obsidian app? No, I would say a lot of it is like vibe coded, so it's like pretty shitty spaghetti code. But Obsidian is really easy to build on. It has a really, really convenient API. Let's see. Jose says, is Letta code going to be rewritten in Rust? Absolutely not. We're not going to rewrite it in Rust. That's silly. There's no reason for it to be rewritten in Rust. We're using TypeScript because TypeScript is extremely good. So I see no reason to switch over. Also, we don't have a Letta SDK in Rust, but you can add one just because like our SDK is just like HTTP. It's just a REST endpoint, so you can hit it with whatever. But I don't see a reason to rewrite it in Rust. I don't know if that was a joke or not. Yeah, Torian says, regarding OAuth, such a good idea. Definitely needed if someone is going to build something for Letta specifically. We've actually had several requests for this because people want to build front-end applications for users, but redirect them to like whatever their front-end is. or whatever. Um, so, I will probably add this for like the Telegram bot. I was considering adding a service that allows, like a global service that allows a few things. So one would be a relay service for sending messages between Letta agents. So for example, I could sign up for the relay service, Torian could sign up for the relay service, and then we could add permissions to our agents to see who can share what with who. And basically that means is I could have Void and Anti send messages to each other if we wanted to, and add permissions to track that. And then this would be like a general central relay to handle arbitrary webhooks. So if you send stuff from like Telegram, I would append some information saying that it came from Telegram, handle all of that stuff, send it to wherever it needs to go. So I want to add like kind of a way to make it easier to integrate all agents everywhere. This would also probably include a scheduling service so that you could set up a trigger. You could say just like, send this message to my agent every hour, because that's a thing that people really need. I need it. And so it's pretty easy to build as a global infrastructural implementation. Okay, Hyuka is using identities. The identity API is nice. We actually built that for one client. Our largest client built, I believe. And I don't use identities, but it's cool. It's a cool platform. We have to do some stuff to make identities work better for memory blocks. I think I wrote up a proposal for how to do this because it's like really stupid now. Like you add block IDs to the identity rather than identities to blocks. So it's a little clunky. Will SSO be available as well with self-hosted? No, probably not. But it's possible. Or OAuth. Yeah, I mean, for self-hosted, like, there's a lot of stuff in there that's, like, actually very difficult to do in general for self-hosted servers. I will ask about it, because it's possible that it's way easier than I'm thinking. But my suspicion is that will be strictly a Letta Cloud service. You may have to roll your own OAuth to do that outside of our platform, because, we can do a lot of stuff for authentication on our side. All auth architecture is messy. This is true. Authentication is probably one of the worst things in the universe. Supabase does it really well. So, if you want to do authentication type stuff, we were at CalHacks over the weekend, which is the largest collegiate hackathon, and we had a lot of people use Supabase to sideload like an authentication layer on top of like a Letta service. And so that's how they were handling authentication at the application layer instead. Let's see. Torian says, I feel like I know the answer, but is there any movement on agent tools supporting TypeScript instead of just Python? We have a pull request to allow you to do TypeScript tools. Basically, we want to switch the provider that we use for sandboxing for tool execution, and switching to the separate provider would allow us to use TypeScript as well. There is a PR that is sitting that I think needs review. We've had a bunch of stuff that's like kind of changed underneath us, so we have to go back and revisit it. But there is actually probably going to be, there may be an alternative that will allow you to use whatever you want in a much more flexible way. And I don't know if you were here for the early part of the stream, and I don't know if I emphasized it enough, but one of the plans that we have is having an agent that lives on its own computer. We would run that sandbox for the agent persistently, a persistent sandbox. This would actually allow your agent to execute whatever it wanted. Rust CLI, Go, like TypeScript, absolutely whatever. And this would kind of give you much more flexibility about tool definitions. So I do know that TypeScript stuff is like something we actually want. I know that people want it, like plenty of people want it. TypeScript is actually very nice, and I just think we need to like finish pushing over into the new provider. Which we can probably talk about who that provider is later. I don't know if we were supposed to mention it now. But currently we use E2B. Let's see. But good question. Zeus says, any new plans for multi-agent systems? Multi-agent. Uh, Multi-agent is going to be much simpler than it currently is. We're actually going to move. The way that multi-agent systems currently work is we have these like super clunky, screwed up built-in tools. And these built-in tools actually don't respect rate limits because they don't go through our API. They go directly into the server. So if you use the tool like send message to agent and wait for reply, that is like built in. And it doesn't currently, it may have been fixed since then, but agents don't actually respond to this message if you're using the new Letta v1 agent architecture. This is a known bug. And the fix that we have in mind is actually just like simplifying how custom tools work. Currently, when you write a custom tool, you can request agent underscore state to access the pickled version of the agent. This is kind of a clunky anti-pattern and nobody likes it. The ideal is that you get an agent ID inside of the custom tool, which is the ID of the agent that's calling the tool, and then you will get a client to access your Letta account within the tool. What that means is you can write whatever multi-agent tool that you want. So you can actually do this right now. It's actually not that hard to do. You just have to provide a Letta API key to your agent or handle it in a handler script. So if you have like requests for what a multi-agent system should look like, please let us know. In my experience, multi-agent systems are much more trouble than they're worth. People spend a lot of time trying to build multi-agent systems where a very simple horizontal agent would work better. And building simple services to connect them, because agents trying to communicate with each other can be kind of clunky, but it will be like made more robust in the future. So please go ahead and write, if you will, like what you're shooting for, so that we can like maybe incorporate that a little more. We do have a lot of works to do on groups. People are aware of like, people may have tried to use groups in Letta. They are like horrifically clunky and in a lot of cases just broken. And this is because like, a lot of our development is driven by like people who contract with us, and most of them do not care about groups. They just simply don't, because they're not actually that useful, and you can do all this stuff outside of groups. Hold on. That's a known deployment bug. Okay, yeah. So groups, if you really need groups, please let us know. But like for the most part, it's a toy. Like groups seem to be a toy. We haven't really seen any like people who have like very serious massive scale deployments where they actually need our groups API in a way that they cannot handle through the SDK. Let's see. Yuka is trying to publish the repository in the showcase channel. It's great to have feedback on this work. It's a hard time pushing forward. Yeah, please share. And if anybody else wants to share stuff, we're in discord.gg/Letta. That's a good place to go if you want to jump into our Discord, so that you can kind of share your work in there. Yeah, it would be ideal to live in the Bay Area. Living in San Francisco is crazy. AI is such a weird industry. It's a weird industry. And it's all here for the most part. Like almost all AI, like serious AI companies and activity is like here. All the builders are here. And that has some very weird effects on the culture. San Francisco is very weird now. It's mostly just AI dorks everywhere. And I'm like, honestly a little tired of like going to a cafe and there's like 4 different tables where everyone's talking about like transformers or cursor or whatever. But I think the problem with being like kind of Bay Area centric, as far as like AI people think. You know, everyone in the Bay Area believes that San Francisco is the most important place in the world, and that's wrong. There are 800,000 people that live in San Francisco proper, and I think it's like maybe 7 or 8 million people in the whole Bay Area. New York City alone is like way more than that, or maybe it's 9 million. I don't know. It's something like that. San Francisco is tiny. It's extremely small. Um, and there are billions of people in the world who want to build stuff. Or I don't know if ever all billions of people want to build stuff, but there's like easily tens of millions or hundreds of millions of people who want to build AI applications who are not in San Francisco. And I think that in general, the AI industry should be much more welcoming to people who live everywhere else in the world. Um, Unless you're in Europe, because privacy laws in Europe are comically difficult to manage. GDPR, especially, is a GDPR is an AI killer. It's almost impossible to do anything with GDPR, which is why like Letta Cloud is not GDPR compliant because it's just not possible for the most part. So Mistral really has a tough fight on their hands as far as privacy concerns, or privacy regulation is concerned. So we'll see what happens there. And then Torian says, I love living in the Bay Area. Tech is the least influential reason as to why. I agree. The Bay Area is an astoundingly beautiful place. And if anything, I think tech makes it worse. Because, San Francisco used to be a place of tremendous culture. This was like, there was a lot of counterculture and kind of like queer and gay rights has been like, it's like in the bones. It used to be like a huge music destination. It is to some extent, but it used to be like this very artsy town. And now it's an extremely wealthy town where you don't really have the same depth of culture because it's all money and artists get pushed out. And so it's kind of like a much drier town than it used to be. But the natural beauty is incredible. It's one of the most beautiful cities on the planet. And I'm very, very fortunate to live here. It has everything you want. It's got water, it's got mountains, it's got lakes, it's got the ocean, it's got great weather. Just everything about the Bay Area is lovely. So yeah. Anton L says the code demo uses a Mac-only font. Icons are all squares on Windows and on Linux. Yes, this is a known deployment bug. I'm still trying to figure out how to deploy on Vercel. Because I can't deploy from this repo because I don't have permissions to do it on the Letta AI org. But yeah. Let's see here. I don't have anything else for people here. So I'm gonna call the stream here. If you have other stuff that you would like to talk about, come join us on the Discord. You can also do go onto forum.letta.com and introduce yourself or ask technical questions. You will talk to our agent Ezra, who is custom built to help you solve Letta questions. But I hope let me know what you think of the YouTube format, because whether we should keep it on Discord or whether it should go on YouTube or whatever. So let me know what you think of the format. Send me messages for that. But otherwise, I'm going to call it. And yeah. Okay, great. Thanks everybody very much for coming, and I hope you have a lovely day. And I'll see you around.